This video is going to be a special video for me for a number of reasons. This might be the last video that I probably would be shooting in this room as I'm moving away to my hometown in a couple of days. But frankly, I've started to have an attachment towards this setup, and it's a really awful feeling to know that I'm going to strip this down after this video. Anyway, all of this never happened overnight, and it was a learning process for me, understanding different video lights, different microphones, audio interfaces, and all the processing that goes behind it. Also, I did get a few comments asking about the setup, the camera keys I use in a few of the videos that I've uploaded, and I always get asked about the same when I'm on Discord. I'll be explaining about the equipment that I use, and also I'll be leaving the links of the items in the description below. The whole setup is powered by an M1 MacBook Air, which I feel is the best value for money MacBook you can get, and it's connected to my monitor LG Ergo 27QN880, which is a 27-inch 2K USB-C monitor, which means just one cable to your laptop will power and mirror the screen. Also, the USB ports behind the monitor can be used as a USB hub for connecting your peripherals. If I need a little more real estate, I'll just connect my iPad via Sidecar to use it as a third monitor. The other accessories that I'm using are Magic Keyboard, Magic Mouse, and the Magic Trackpad from Apple, all in space gray color, which for some reason they discontinued. The camera that I use are Nikon 5300 and Nikon 5200, which are quite old, and I do not recommend this to anyone, as you have plenty of other budget options better than this, like Sony ZV-E10 or an Alpha 6100 or a Canon M50 Mark II. Or if you want a little more build quality, you can go with a Sony Alpha 6400. All are APS-C crop sensors and are a full frame. The lenses I'm using are Sigma 10-20mm f3.5 and Nikon 50mm prime f1.8. I use the same camera for webcam as well by connecting the HDMI cable to a USB HDMI capture card, and the Mac recognizes it as a USB webcam. But to keep it running all day, you need to have a dummy battery inside it and connect it to the power. Coming to the audio gears, I use an Audio-Technica AT2100X for live sessions, which is a dynamic cardioid microphone, and an alternative to this microphone would be Samsung Q2U. Both have a similar price tag, form factor, and features, so you won't go wrong with either of them. It's a both USB and an XLR microphone, which also have a zero latency audio monitoring jack, which means you're good to go with this microphone even without an audio interface. But in case if you want to upgrade your setup in future, you always have the XLR port to plug it into an audio interface. Talking about the interface, I use an Audient Evo 4, and I believe this could be one of the best budget audio interface with a clean output. And it supports 2 XLR inputs just to future-proof your setup in case if you intend to do a podcast down the line. For some of the videos, when I prefer not to have the microphone sticking out in the frame, I use a shotgun microphone from Rode, that's Rode VideoMic Go-To, and I boom it just about the top frame about 15 to 20 centimeters away from my mouth. The headphone I'm using is a Sennheiser HD560S, which is a flat EQ open back audiophile headset. But in case if you're looking for a good affordable alternative, it would be HiFiMan HE400SE, which you could get for half the price. Coming to the video lights, the key light I'm using is a Godox SL60W with a Godox 80cm softbox with grid, which is actually blinding if you're sitting over here. The grid helps in focusing the light on me and prevents it from spilling onto the background, as it's always nice to have a darker background to have a good separation from the subject. Behind I have a hair light or a rim light, which is Simpex SL60W with a barn and a color gel, which adds a little bit of depth to the image. Other things that are on my table are a wireless MagSafe charger from Belkin for charging my phones and AirPods Pro, then a charging dock for Apple Watch, a pen holder, a small digital clock, a nice looking paperweight, and a fake IKEA plant. So that brings us towards the end of this video, but it's really hard to see me disassembling the whole thing. And I'm preparing to say goodbye to Sullia that housed me for the past 4 years. This place did actually transform me in many different ways. I came across a lot of amazing people, professors, colleagues, students, each one teaching priceless lessons and experience. And this was the place where I started doing YouTube videos. But when I look back to those initial videos, I always felt like a cringe and wanted to take them down. But I might just keep it to remind myself how it all started. Or maybe unlist them later. I don't know. Anyway, it's time to say goodbye, Sullia. مع السلامة.